The Terrible Sin of Jeroboam. It's one of those chapters of the Bible full of intrigue, twists, and profound lessons. We enter a crucial moment in biblical history, a time when the great kingdom of Israel finds itself divided. This division, not only geopolitical, but also spiritual, marks the rise of Jeroboam as king in the northern region, after a separation that left God's people in two factions. And where did it all start? In the last years of the reign of wise Solomon. Solomon, the king known for his divine wisdom, saw his reign turn into a crucial stage of disobedience. And it is exactly in this scenario that our story unfolds. A disobedience that not only shook the structures of the kingdom, but also paved the way for surprising events that shaped the destiny of Jeroboam and the entire nation of Israel. Let's delve deeper into this intriguing narrative, because the choices made now will resonate for generations. Get ready for an exciting journey through the last years of Solomon's reign and the developments that changed the course of history. When we study the last years of Solomon's reign, we come across a disobedience that resonates through the centuries. Solomon, the king recognized for his divine wisdom, finds himself at a crucial crossroads. In the book of 1 Kings, chapter 11, verses 1 to 13, the Bible tells us about this moment that will change the course of history. King Solomon loved many foreign women besides Pharaoh's daughter. They were Moabite, Ammonite, Edomite, Sidonian, and Hittite women. They were from the nations about whom the Lord had said to the Israelites,
"You may not take wives from these nations, for they will lead you astray to follow their gods."
However, Solomon lovingly clung to them. 1 Kings 11 verse 1 and 2. Solomon, in his search for political and social alliances, directly disobeys the divine order by joining forces with foreign women. God had explicitly instructed him not to mix with the surrounding nations, as this could turn his heart toward strange gods. However, Solomon, seduced by power and influence, chooses a path that compromises not only his divine loyalty but also the future of the kingdom. This disobedience does not go unnoticed in the eyes of God, who, indignant, decides to act. God addresses Solomon, announcing the division of the kingdom and choosing Jeroboam to lead the northern region, promising him 10 tribes as an inheritance. Then the Lord said to him,
"Since this is your attitude and you have not obeyed my covenant and my decrees, which I commanded you, I will certainly take the kingdom away from you and give it to one of your servants. However, for the love of your father David, I will not do this while you live. I will take it out of your son's hand, but I will not take away the whole kingdom from him. I will give you a tribe for the sake of David my servant, and for the sake of Jerusalem, the city I have chosen."
1 Kings 11 verse 11 to 13. Solomon's choice to follow his own path will have profound consequences, setting the stage for events that will shape Israel's destiny. We are facing a crucial turning point in biblical history, where the actions of a wise king trigger a series of events that will reverberate throughout the ages. This is where our narrative becomes even more intriguing. The story takes on even deeper contours when Jeroboam, now elevated to the position of leader, is confronted with the weight of his responsibilities. The prophet Ahijah, God's direct spokesman, enters the scene to deliver a message that will remain in the annals of biblical history. This crucial moment is recorded in the book of 1 Kings, chapter 11, verses 29 to 39. Jeroboam, newly appointed leader of the northern region of Israel, is about to receive a divine message through the prophet Ahijah. God, through the prophet, exposes the depths of Solomon's sin, the disobedience that shook the foundations of divine faithfulness. The biblical reference of 1 Kings 11 verses 31 to 32 is the stage for this impactful prophecy. Ahijah held tightly to the cloak he was wearing, tore it into 12 pieces, and said to Jeroboam. The story takes on even deeper contours when Jeroboam, now elevated to the position of leader, is confronted with the weight of his responsibilities. The prophet Ahijah, God's direct spokesman, enters the scene to deliver a message that will remain in the annals of biblical history. This crucial moment is recorded in the book of 1 Kings, chapter 11, verses 29 to 39. Jeroboam, newly appointed leader of the northern region of Israel, is about to receive a divine message through the prophet Ahijah. God, through the prophet, exposes the depths of Solomon's sin, the disobedience that shook the foundations of divine faithfulness. The biblical reference of 1 Kings 11 verses 31 to 32 is the stage for this impactful prophecy. Ahijah held tightly to the cloak he was wearing, tore it into 12 pieces, and said to Jeroboam,
"Gather 10 pieces for yourself, for this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. Know that I will take the kingdom out of the hands of Solomon and give you 10 tribes. But for the sake of my servant David and for the city of Jerusalem, which I chose out of all the tribes of Israel, you will have 1 tribe."
The message is not just about the past. It is a penetrating vision of the future. The prophecy reveals the imminent division of the kingdom, a direct consequence of Solomon's misguided choices. Jeroboam, upon hearing these prophetic words, is informed of the crucial role he will play in leading a significant portion of God's people. But the revelations don't stop there. God, through Ahijah, anticipates the future misfortunes that will befall Jeroboam's family. It is a cautionary tale, a glimpse of the tragedies that await those who stray from the divine path. With this prophecy, we are catapulted into a future filled with uncertainty and challenges, further shaping Israel's destiny. We are about to see how Jeroboam's choices, given this divine message, will influence the course of history. With Ahijah's prophecy ringing in his ears, Jeroboam finds himself faced with a monumental dilemma. He is called to lead a nation, but the fear of losing the people's support begins to creep in like a sinister shadow in his heart. The story unfolds in the book of 1 Kings, chapter 12, verses 25 to 33. Jeroboam, wanting to keep his people united, succumbs to fear and commits a terrible sin. He makes a decision that will reverberate through the pages of biblical history. The biblical reference of 1 Kings 12 verses 28 to 33 takes us to the epicenter of this critical moment. After taking counsel, the king made 2 golden calves and said to the people, "You have come far up to Jerusalem. Here are your gods, O Israel, who brought you out of Egypt." He ordered a calf to be placed in Bethel and another in Dan. And this became a sin, because the people went to Dan to worship that calf. Jeroboam built idolatrous altars and appointed priests from among the people, even though they were not Levites. He instituted a festival on the 15th day of the 8th month, similar to the festival held in Judah, and offered sacrifices on the altar. He did this at Bethel, where he sacrificed the calves he had made. He also established priests there at their idolatrous altars. On the 15th day of the 8th month, a date he chose himself, he offered sacrifices on the altar he had built at Bethel. So he instituted the feast for the Israelites and went to the altar to burn incense. Jeroboam's fear leads him to create golden idols, establish places of peaceful enthusiasm, and drive the people away from Jerusalem. He mistakenly seeks to consolidate his leadership by moving the northern tribes away from the religious center in Jerusalem, fearing that constant wandering will bring them closer to Judah's king, Rehoboam. This choice, driven by fear, not only distances Jeroboam's people from the true worship of God, but also signals a profound separation between the northern and southern tribes. We are facing a crucial moment where Jeroboam's actions begin to shape the destiny of his reign and, consequently, the destiny of the entire people of Israel, an outcome of tragic decisions and lasting consequences. The plot reaches its climax when Ahijah's prophecy, spoken in the not-so-distant past, begins to unfold in an impressive way. We are now in the book of 1 Kings, chapter 14, verses 1 to 18, where every prophetic word comes true. At that time Abijah son of Jeroboam became sick. 1 Kings, chapter 14, verses 1. Jeroboam's son Abijah becomes seriously ill, casting a shadow of apprehension over the palace. Begins to materialize in a shocking way the prophecy of Ahijah, which foretells woes upon Jeroboam's family. Jeroboam, now king, faces an agonizing dilemma as his heir fights for his life. With an anguished heart, Jeroboam decides to send his wife in disguise to consult the prophet Ahijah. The biblical account in 1 Kings 14 verses 2-6 transports us to this moment of suspense and anxiety. The disguise is an attempt to obtain a sincere answer without influencing the prophet's word. And he said to his wife, "Wear a disguise, so as not to be recognized as Jeroboam's wife, and go to Shiloh, where the prophet Ahijah lies, the one who told me that I would be king over these people. Bring him 10 loaves of bread, some cakes, and a bottle of honey. He will tell you what will happen to the boy." Jeroboam's wife responded to his request and went to Ahijah's house in Shiloh. Now Ahijah could no longer see. He had become blind because of age. But the Lord had said to him, "Jeroboam's wife is coming to ask you about her son, for he is sick, and you must answer her thus and thus. When she arrives, she will pretend to be someone else." When Ahijah heard the sound of footsteps at the door, he said,
"Come in, wife of Jeroboam. Why this pretense? I was tasked with delivering bad news to you."
1 Kings chapter 14, verses 2-6. The answer, however, is shocking and brings with it confirmation of the consequences of Jeroboam's sin. The prophecy unfolds like a dark puzzle, revealing not only Abijah's imminent death, but also heralding a grim fate for Jeroboam's entire lineage. "Go tell Jeroboam that this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. I took him from among the people and made him leader over my people Israel. I took the kingdom from David's family and gave it to you. But you have not been like my servant David, who obeyed my commandments and followed me with all his heart, doing only what I approved. You have done more evil than all who lived before you, for you have made for yourself other gods, idols of metal. You have provoked my anger and turned your back on me. Therefore I will bring disgrace on the family of Jeroboam. I will kill from Jeroboam to the last male in Israel, whether slave or free. I will burn Jeroboam's family to the end like someone who burns dung. Of those who belong to Jeroboam, the dogs will eat those who die in the city, and the birds of the air will feed on those who die in the field. The Lord has spoken." And the prophecy did not stop there. The prophet continued with what is the most painful word a mother can hear. 1 Kings 14 and 12.
"As for you, go home. When you set foot in the city, the boy will die.
And what was bad will now get worse.
He is the only one from Jeroboam's family who will be buried, because he is the only one from Jeroboam's family in whom the Lord, the God of Israel, found anything good. The Lord will raise up for himself a king over Israel who will eliminate the family of Jeroboam. The day will come when, right now, and the Lord will strike Israel, so that they will be like reeds waving in the water. He will uproot Israel from this good land that he gave to their ancestors and scatter them beyond the Euphrates, because they provoked the Lord's anger with the sacred poles that they made. And he will abandon Israel because of the sins that Jeroboam committed and caused Israel to commit."
The story of Jeroboam, recorded in 1 Kings chapters 11 through 14, is more than an ancient account. It is a mirror that reflects eternal truths about choices and consequences. As we contemplate Jeroboam's choices, we are confronted with the reality that fear and disobedience can be powerful agents of deviation from God's ways. Decisions made under the aegis of fear often lead us to acts that contradict the divine will. The Bible, our compass on this spiritual journey, warns us about the dangers of these crossroads. The biblical record in 1 Kings 14 verse 8, where God speaks through the prophet Ahijah, brings light to this reflection. "And I will tear this kingdom from the house of David and give it to you, but you will not be my servant forever, but your son. For David's sake, whom I have chosen, will keep my commandments and my statutes." Even in the shadows of sin, there is a promise of divine mercy. The story of Jeroboam invites us to consider our own choices, to examine whether we are walking the paths of fear and disobedience. Yet even when we fail, divine mercy continues to guide us. The same mercy that was extended to Jeroboam, despite the tragic consequences of his actions, is within our reach. As we close this journey through the pages of Jeroboam's story, may we take with us the profound lesson that our choices shape our destiny, but God's mercy is a constant that sustains us. May this reflection inspire us to walk the paths of obedience and trust, trusting in the grace that is offered to us even when we fail. We are, after all, before a God who writes redemption even in the darkest pages of our lives. May this ancient story be a source of wisdom for today. I hope you enjoyed this journey through the story of Jeroboam. If you liked the content, leave a like, share with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring videos. Thanks for following us, and we'll see you in the next video. Until then,